Everybody needs to check out the new Superman movie because it's showing you the dichotomy between artificial intelligence versus the true Christ consciousness. Now, in the movie, they show you the crystal city, but the crystal city is within your neurological format when you're talking about the 144,000 crystals in the brain called the magnetites and the dendrites that powers the olfactory nerve that gives you the Christ consciousness. And it's also not a coincidence that the movie was exactly 144 minutes long. Now, one thing you got to understand about kryptonite, kryptonite is one of the 9 noble gases when you're talking about carbon, lithium, sulfur, helium, hydrogen, exon, radon, argon, and krypton, because krypton has a pheromone energy that gives a positive electrical frequency to the crystals, which makes it turn green. So that's basically the green ethereal energy that powers the Christ body. Superman's planetary krypton name was Ka-El. And when you look at the prefix and the suffix of the word, Ka equals spirit and El equals God. Spirit of God that is drawn by the energy of the sun. So it's not a coincidence that within the movie, the artificial intelligence that was facilitated by Lex Luthor, who was playing Elon Musk, had nanocytes. And nanocytes was basically extracting the energy from Superman to keep him stuck inside of a dark parking universe, which is the Demiurge. In the movie, Lex Luthor was the personification of Elon Musk, who had a company called LexCorp that is also equated to Tesla. And then you also had the Bavarian president, who was basically in alignment with Donald Trump. The synopsis of the movie is basically artificial intelligence teaming up with tyrannical governments to extract the energy of the Christ body, because they know the indigenous people have the ability to activate their powers by way of the energy of the sun, like Superman.
Alrighty guys, I'm back with another video, and last night, as you guys can see from my other videos, I went to go see Superman Legacy, and I just want to say how I feel like at first I didn't understand it. I'll admit, I give it like a rating like a 7 or something. Now I bumped it up to an 8.5 because James Gunn used Superman, aka Clark Kent, aka Kal-El, to tell the ultimate immigrant story, because Superman is the ultimate immigrant. So let's talk. I'm gonna talk about that more in a different video, but I kind of want to talk about how James Gunn used Metamorpho and his son to represent immigrant, detention camps and just the ice raids and everything. Alrighty, guys. So the movie, I'm not gonna try to spoil too much, but basically, Superman is forced to turn himself in because something comes out about him, and where he's from and yada yada yada. So he has to submit himself to Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is basically like a hired gun for the U.S. government to capture Superman. It's freaking Superman. Who else can capture him but Lex Luthor? So in the movie, Lex Luthor is a symbol for the military industrial complex. So just think about it in that lens, right? So the government hires Superman because Superman needs to be put away, because Superman is messing around in something that's very important that Lex Luthor is trying to make money off of. Superman keep intervening. So when Superman turned himself in, Lex Luthor, he's there, and they take him to a certain place. I'm not going to really talk too much about this place, because I do want you guys to enjoy the movie, but this place right here is a representation of the ICE detention camp, because Superman, at the time, everybody was, criticizing him because he's an alien. And who else are considered aliens in today's standards? Immigrants who come over here. Sometimes they call them I personally find kind of like a racial slur, call somebody like a illegal alien. I feel like that's crazy to say. But basically, Superman is an illegal alien. So they escort him to this place, and this is where Superman is held captive by Metamorpho. And for those who know, Metamorpho can basically make anything, any substance that's in the world from his body. So Superman met him. So two people who are different, 2 people who are non-human, 2 people who are not the norm, aka metahumans. So Metamorpho is in there, and he's not really a bad guy. He doesn't want to hurt Superman, but he has to, because now this is spoiler, guys. Spoilers. Lex Luthor has his son in the same facility and has them separated and saying, hey, if you don't help me doing what I'm doing, I'm going to, take it out on your son. So Metamorpho is forced to work with Lex Luthor in hurting Superman. Only to a certain another immigrant shows up that was also helping Superman, and something, happens, and it causes Metamorpho to realize, hey, we're all in this together. And then boom. So yeah, guys, James Gunn, you cooking. I see. First, I gave it a 7. Now it's 8.5. So, I don't know. I think I might like this movie better than Man of Steel. Because Man of Steel really didn't have no plot. It was just straight hands. Nothing wrong with that, but I need plot too. So, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And until next time, guys. Peace.
What gave Superman his strength, y'all? If you kept up with the comic as a kid, the sun, nigga. The sun gave him his strength. Facts. The sun gave him his strength. All right. So now they put a melanated being on Superman, and they painted his being as a melanated being because he doesn't have carbon. But we know that if he had melanin, he couldn't take no sunlight. So how did his power come from the sun? So who is the Superman story really about? All right, the Superman story is really about you. The S on his chest represents the serpent, which is the shape of your spine. So the S stands for serpent and spine, which is where the serpent is in your spine because it's shaped like a snake, like a king cobra, the Kundalini energy, nigga. And then him having that power and getting the power from the sun and being that fast and flying, nigga, that's what you can do for off your DNA. Listen, you can do that when your DNA is unlocked. You know what I'm saying? You had 98% of your DNA was locked your entire life, family, so you ain't never been able to do none of this shit, nigga. All right. Why do you think there's some people that can jump higher than others? I'm talking about amongst us black and Latinos. They taught us that
Bruh, is the new Superman movie really anti-Israel? Yes, I just watched that shit. And it's probably as pro-anti-Israel as a movie produced by Hollywood can be. Let me explain. The movie centers around a conflict between two countries, Bravia and Jaranpur, which Superman just intervened to stop Bravia from invading Jaranpur. Bravia is this hyper-militaristic country that takes money from America, or in this case, LexCorp. Their leader of Bravia is just a puppet of Lex Luthor. Tell me this is not just a stand-in for Benjamin Netanyahu. In the movie, Bravia is trying to invade Jaranpur, specifically show a hyper-militarized unit going to go against villagers, don't have like any real weapons. And just as this young boy is about to get shot by the military, the superheroes come to rescue him. It symbolizes two things: the dehumanization of even young children against the military, and the anti-symmetry between these two forces, where we have hyper-military units on one side, tanks and shit, and then people were fighting with literally whatever they can find, which mirrors is not real and Palestine. Superman is not standing for the shit because he realizes it's unjust. This to me is bringing real superheroes back, because I can't tell you how many times I've imagined if I had superpowers, I'd exactly intervene on these kind of events. The movie kind of wavers on its anti-Israel stance as it tries to act like these are two separate nations, and it ignores the fact that the land that Bravia, in this case, exists under is stolen land, and this is a colonial project. Even though in this scene they were going up against villagers, it does say in the movie that these people, the Jaranpurians, have a dictator over them as well. Which again levels the playing field, which is kind of liberal Zionist propaganda, because it doesn't mention the active and ongoing genocide of the Palestinians now either. But overall, I think it shows how Zionism is losing the propaganda war. The movie itself could have been more pro-Palestine, though, in my opinion. What did y'all think?
Well, with all that being said, like I always tell y'all, they gonna put the truth in plain sight. They always put it in the movies and many other places that a lot of people don't think that is truth being put right in front of their face. You know what I'm saying? They trying to avoid the karmic law. You know what I'm saying? By indirectly talking about you and telling you their plans and telling you what's getting ready to happen and what didn't already happen and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to leave anything out, so I found some good videos to react, to break it down. But shit, with all that being said, I'm going to give this joint 5 big popcorns, because it was like that. Peace, I'm out, Jumpman. Wado.